10 o'clock on the nose. How's everybody doing in cyberspace? I got a feeling I'll get a couple more people dial in late, probably. So if you see me peeking over here, I'm just watching the screen so I can let them in. My name's Terry Weston from South Central College in the Center for Business and Industry. And we only have 30 minutes, so I'm going to let you know how this is going to go. And hopefully we don't lose you during the course of this course. We've done a dozen or so of 8-hour trainings and with folks on smartphones and tablets, and we've never lost somebody forever, so that's a good thing. So here's how this works on our 30-minute time schedule. First and foremost, I have you all muted. That's actually on purpose. Typically, we start a class with everybody muted, and then we allow them to unmute themselves. I'm not going to allow that right now because we've got a lot of stuff to cover. So here are your options for questions. One, you can type them in the chat. If you're wondering what the chat looks like, I'll send everybody a chat message. Hi. So something should be blinking somewhere on your screen. You can go ahead and see that. Robert Weston is going to be manning the chat box for us. So if you have any questions you need answered right away, you can type them in there. And even if you have questions that you're just wondering about, I would still type them in there, because when I'm done with this, time permitted, we'll go back through those, because the questions you have are the same questions everybody else is going to have. What you're looking at is a main screen of a lot of the different types of training that we do and we think would work using this platform. I will tell you that when you're going to decide what safety training to do, the first question you have to ask is, who are you and why should I pay attention? Well, that's a great question. I'm going to go ahead and tell you a little bit about us, and then we're going to get rolling. So I'm one of 3 safety professionals here at the Center for Business and Industry. And when I say safety professionals, I mean credentialed safety professionals from the Board of Certified Safety Professionals. You can see the letters over here. You might recognize some of them. Certified Safety Professional, Associate Safety Professional. All 3 of us are certified instructional trainers, and 2 of us are certified mine safety professionals. And so, oh, geez, Robert's gonna yell at me. I left one of the letters out of his years of service, or one of the numbers rather. So now you can see it, it's accurate, and we can even fix things on the fly. And then this is just PowerPoint. And so it's easy to run your presentations that you already have set up on here, provided they're set up to engage and interact, and those are things that you're going to want in your training anyways. I'll let you know that our preferred mode of delivery, like most, is face-to-face. We think it's the best. We think you're going to get the most out of it. But there's reasons why we can't always do that, and we're all in one of those situations right now. We do have some online training here at CBI. Robert and I have put together a award-winning MSHA training online. It's 3 hours worth of half-hour modules, MSHA46.com. If you're wondering, what about just straight online training, go dial into that page and kind of see how the person that developed that actually put it together is a third party of ours that we dealt with. But talk about interaction, video, quizzing, can't fall asleep. It's really good stuff. But I'll just leave that there. A little more about us and why you should pay attention to what we're about to talk about here. Well, we've been doing training here at CBI across the upper Midwest for OSHA topics the entire time we've been here. Now, we have sister colleges all across the state. So obviously, you go to your sister colleges for some specific training, and safety might be one of them. But we actually partner with other colleges in the state. Like I said, we are safety professionals, and so those aren't always easy to find. You can find people that'll offer you safety training along with cleaning your rugs. They'll offer you safety training along with giving you a catalog of nuts and bolts to buy or other services. And just because they're there at your door that day doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have good legal representation when things go south, the highest of quality, and the most important, I think, is the credibility aspect. Some of the things I listed here are things that we do that others don't, and that's why we may need to travel. Many safety props, franchised, patented programs like PowerLift, safety DNA, psychological assessment to predict accidents and injuries, would be the only one in the only college in the nation that would be able to offer that. And site audit and consultation from professionals. And then, like I said, we absolutely do partner with our other colleges, national training providers, and even private consultants. And then on the mining side, we're nationwide. And there's only 330-some thousand miners in the entire United States. That includes coal. So it's not real big, but it's very specialized. And the M in these credentials for Robert and I are certified mine safety professionals again. So that's a little bit about us and why we have some credibility in this field. All right, let's get to it. I don't have anybody hanging in the waiting room, do I? Nope, everybody's in here. So of these topics, I want to give you a taste of what it looks like to go through a teleconference or Zoom style safety training. And I'll try to do as many of the cool things as I can. But first of all, I need to know what topic you want to talk about. So I'm going to let you vote. I'm going to have you vote twice because there's only 10 options to choose from on the first poll, and then there'll be another 8 or 9 on the second. So on your screen, you should see a polling screen. Hopefully you have access to a keyboard. And go ahead and tell us of the first 10 on the list, and they're listed on your polling screen, which one would you rather have me click through a couple of slides on today? So I'll go ahead and let a couple of votes build. And then I'm going to open it up again and get the last 6, and we'll see who gets the most votes. So don't be shy. Go ahead and now don't be shy. I had to actually open the thing up. While you're voting, I will tell you that we've had great success with folks voting on phones, tablets, on computers, obviously. And even when we have people in a training room with 6, 8, 10 people in there, usually have one person running the keyboard, and then they just say, all right, what do you want to vote for? And they take a mini poll and then they enter it in. I was just training an entire county, the highway department, all their departments in Sauk County in Wisconsin just yesterday for 8 hours. And it was great how they were able to have order in their own little groups and then be able to, give the answers that they wanted to give. And then we were able to look at them and go through them. The other thing is they would have done their training with 70 people in an auditorium. And the last question I asked them is, hey, do you like this stuff? I mean, would this be something you'd want to do next year instead of cramming 70 people in an auditorium? And it was over 90% said absolutely. And I want to have you answer that question a little bit later as well. All right, we got votes in, and I'll show you the results because I want to make sure you don't think I'm just making this stuff up. It looks like Electrical 70E is leading so far. So I'm going to just remember that. They got 4 votes. I'm going to ask the second question. Let's see here. Let's get my second question up. Launch that. No, these are new. So these are the remainder of the ones on the list. And you can vote twice. We're not going to get that technical. So go ahead and vote again. This is a new batch. These weren't on the first list. And so right away, you're seeing some of the functionality with the polling. Those of you that have done training with CBI, you know that, we've got our clickers. Every single person is held accountable, and they're answering questions constantly through all of these different topics. I can't think of a better way to train. If you don't know if your people are picking up what you're laying down as an instructor, then you might as well just throw an 8-hour video in and just let her buck. But we want to know what everybody's talking about. 13 of 15 votes. If you can, I'd like those last 2 people to vote because we have a tie going. It's actually a 3-way tie at the top. So there goes one. That didn't change our tie. we got one more vote. You could tip the scales. One person says they can't vote. So what'll happen sometimes is if you're on a phone or a tablet, if you go to a screen or a different screen, you might have thought you lost the ability to poll. It's probably just on a different view. Phones and tablets have a different set of kind of rules on what to do. And they work. They're not nearly as good as a laptop. And even on a laptop, if you bump the screen and knock that polling thing away, you're gonna, on a laptop or a PC, you'll lose it. And the only way to get it back is for me to re-poll the question, which I'm going to show you how to do a question on the fly. So here we go. On the fly. Electrical 70E is A, forklift is B, and confined space is C. So what I'm going to ask you to do, this is how we do a generic poll. All right. Everybody's voting. Electrical safety 70E is A, B is forklift, and C is confined space for C. That'll be an easy one to remember. We're breaking a tie here, people. I want to make sure this is accurate. And I also want to show you that you can pre-program questions, and you can obviously just have a generic question screen up there. Something that we like to do because we've already put the questions in our curriculum. And when we use our remote controls, the questions are just on the screen, and the remote controls don't care if they're on the screen. So we're able to share our presentations with other people. They can run them with or without remotes. But it really helped us out when we wanted to use this polling function. Oh, great. We still have a tie. We have a tie between forklift and confined space. I'm gonna go ahead and be the deciding factor on this one. And those of you that know me probably know, just so you know I'm telling you the truth, here are the results. I'm going to pick the forklift one because that's the one I'm most knowledgeable in. All of us here at the college are subject matter experts in multiple different areas, and that just happens to be one of the areas that I'm a subject matter expert in. So what I've done is I've linked all sessions that we have in other folders on our shared drive and on our computer to this main screen so that I could go to quickly anything that you wanted to watch. So right now it's just downloading off of our shared drive on the campus. And again, if you've got questions you want answered on the fly, Robert is manning the controls, so he'll be able to answer those questions for you. So what I'm going to do is just click through a couple of slides to kind of let you know what this looks like. First thing I want you to experience is what the video is like.
A forklift is a powerful and effective load shifting tool, but can be extremely dangerous if used incorrectly. Forklifts have stability characteristics that are not well understood by many operators, and this can lead to the risk of tip over. If you understand and follow the principles of forklift stability, many accidents can be avoided. You can't afford not to be stability aware.
I firmly believe if you don't show pictures of forklifts tipping over right away, forklift operators aren't going to think that it could ever happen to them. So this is how I run my forklift training. Got a little Candyland approach, so there's no way I can miss anything. And honestly, if the way the rules work on forklifts, some of you know, if one of these topics doesn't apply, if you don't have ramps at your facility, not required to cover it. And so most of our training is customized specific to the company. So let's see here. We'll just do a couple of these. Here's carbon monoxide. So explain to people that carbon monoxide has to be checked in your facilities quarterly if you have forklifts indoors. Some people know that, some people don't. Interject the regulation right on the screen, that works fine. If you want to have video going on the screen, you can certainly do that.
A seatbelt can save a life or a limb. In a tip over, a seatbelt can prevent.
And which this is actually an OSHA memorandum that goes out to their investigators and tells an inspector exactly how to write a citation. Well, hey, if they have that information, we want to give our people that information. And a lot of folks don't even know this stuff exists, but here it is. We want to train that for the folks. Once we get all the way done, if they have rough terrain, construction style forklifts, we talk about that as well. And then it's test time. So let me get to a good question I think you folks will be able to answer. Ooh, some of these are tough. How about this one? Here we go. We're going to ask you another question on the poll. And I did want to just show you how we do all of our questions that are already pre-written into our curriculum. Seatbelts, when are they required to be worn? Go ahead and answer this up. I'll tell you the answer, and then we're going to move on to something else. Oh, you folks are doing really, really good, I got to say. Uh-oh, we got a wild child. 14 of the 15 are in, we're going to call it. Here's the results. Yeah, it's actually at all times. We'll talk about that at a later date. It's funny that one person did say only on equipment with no rollover protection structure. So I don't know if they knew what that meant or not, or they were just stabbing at things. Honestly, if equipment doesn't have an overhead guard, then you're not required to wear a seatbelt. So little tidbits of information you'll find in case law, you'll find it in interpretations, you'll find it in things other than the J.J. Keller video. Hopefully that's not how you're doing your training. So I'm going to just go ahead and go to the end of that one, and we're back here. So I just want to show you the title screen on the other two that tied for the ones we want to talk about, and just click through a couple of slides. This is a 70E. These are just a few of the slides that typically Robert, our subject matter expert, would go to. And sometimes I forget to take the result screen off. Just some questions, safe boundaries, things, stuff. And then the other one you clicked was confined space entry. Take just a second to download that. Can you believe we're 16 seconds in, or 16 minutes in yet?
A confined space is any area large enough and so configured that an employee can bodily enter and perform assigned work, has limited means for entry and exit, and is not designed for continuous employee occupancy. Some examples of confined.
Yep, there's 3 of them, and there's a question that I'm not going to make you answer because I think you get the gist of that. Let's get into some features, people. The cool stuff. Well, first of all, we can control all the security. If you've seen the news reports of people Zoom bombing and things like that, we can control that. And those are on the free versions. The state of Minnesota has an enterprise version that we pay for. And as an admin, I could make all of you folks have to have a password to come in. I could kick you out if you're being naughty and you can't get back in. So those are some of the security functions. You've seen the full screen video, the resolution, and the sound quality. Those are things that other providers, GoToMeeting, some of those things can't provide. So that's cool. The viewing options. Well, some of you are probably doing a few of these. So single person on a laptop, one of the easiest ways to do it. You got your camera, got your mic, it's built in. Life is good. If you have a computer, laptop, desktop, or whatever, but you don't have a camera and you need a camera and a mic, you can actually sign in with your cell phone, lean it up against the display, and have the camera shoot back to you. You talk through the microphone and you see everything on the big screen. That's what folks have been doing, and honestly, they've been doing it without any of our technical support. And some of these people, their IT manager is their wife or their 13-year-old son or daughter. So, and we get to see that just before class starts. That's fun. Groups. We have people that will be in groups of 3, 5, 6, 10, 12. They'll be in a whole conference room on the big screen, just as if myself or one of our other trainers was training in front of them, except for instead of watching me pace back and forth in front of the screen, they just see my little square head talking in the corner. But literally no loss in functionality. And they can talk to their peers, social distancing, of course. But it's, and you know what they do? These are folks that are like, well, but usually we just plug a laptop and we don't know how to do a ITV video conference. Actually, if you can plug your laptop in, you do. You know what you do? You take your laptop and you turn it around and face the crowd. The camera on the laptop shows the instructor the crowd. The microphone on the laptop is your microphone. And then you get to enjoy the screen that you're looking at, which is the same screen you get if I was there plugged in myself. It's pretty awesome. For someone who's more face-to-face oriented, I gotta say, I'm kind of digging this approach, and I'm really digging the fact that people are liking it and say, yeah, no, we'll do this next year, even with the ability to do face-to-face. Tablet, smartphone, I told you, there's some things you have to work with. Almost all Android platforms, when I put up a polling question, it covers the whole screen. And you're like, oh, what was that question again? Well, back arrow, it goes away. There's the question. Click a little icon on the bottom and go back to the poll. iPhones are a little more tricky with swiping and things like that, but those are options. All right, more features. I'm kind of a time guy, so I'm going to just keep chugging here. We got 10 minutes, and I want to get a couple of questions in before we go. If you have questions, Robert knows the answer to all of them. He's on the chat. And if you're wondering where did that chat go, I want to type hi in there again. So something should be blinking on your screen. If you lost the chat, it should be back. Polling options. Well, I've been showing you the Zoom polling, but we're going to try a little experiment here. Now, we've been using remote controls, Turning Point remote controls, for years now. I mentioned that at the beginning of the presentation. Here's what I want you to do. If you've got a cell phone handy, humor me here. Go into your app store. It doesn't cost anything. Type in Turning Point. You'll notice that little icon. I want you to download the app. On the very last slide, I'm going to ask a question, and I'm going to show you how people in the room, out of the room, in Chicago, can all answer the same questions, get the instant results. They can be graded, and everything can show on the screen as if they were all in the room. You know, that's something Zoom can't do. And I'm going to talk about the ability to do hybrid type classes where you do a class face-to-face with 4 people, and we wire in a couple of more, and they use their cell phones while the people in the classroom are using the remote controls. Literally mix and match. Once you get in there, just download the app. Just say I'm a guest. You don't have to sign anything, sign in or anything. And your password's going to be easy to remember, COVID-19. Put your first name in and hit join. I'm going to have a little task for you. So what I'm going to show you just quickly is, and I might as well drag it over here so you can see, I'm going to sign into my Turning Point software. I'm going to go ahead and enable my mobile responses. My session is COVID ID, or COVID-19 rather, and that's running. I'm going to start, and some of you that have been in our classes before would know what this little thing is. That's just my little, you know, who's all answering, open the questions, all that. I'm going to just table that while the rest of you dial in on your cell phones. I don't know, out of 14 people, I might get 2 or 3 to actually do it. Hopefully somebody does, because I want to show you the functionality, but I'm going to keep going. If you've got a question about any of this, you just ask Robert on the chat. Hybrid options. So I just mentioned, you can have people in the room, and we're probably going to be doing this at our school, hopefully other people at their schools, because it's going to help us not have to cancel classes. We can use this technology to make a class run that otherwise would have canceled. And the way we do it, of course, is have our 3 people on site using our remote controls, going through the same presentation. And then we have some satellite locations. Doesn't even have to be in a school or a training room. It can be in your living room, on the Barca lounger. I had an individual that was sitting on their couch with their feet up, and somebody in the chat said, "Nice feet." And the person didn't know that they could see everybody because they didn't have the gallery view clicked on their little icon. If you go up to the little picture talking head of me, one of your views is show the grid video. That's going to show everybody. And so you have options. And some of those you can just go into Zoom and you go through a tutorial. That's not necessarily what this is. I want to show you what the training looks like and what some of the features are for the safety training that we typically do. Breakout rooms, 2 clicks. I can put you, there's 14 of you, I can put you in 3 different breakout rooms, give you a task to discuss, and the only people you see are the couple, 3, 4 that are in your room. When you're done, I send out a message, hey, come on out of your room. It's going to close in a minute, and you can come out anytime you want to. And then we can discuss, we can ask polling questions. It really, really does work good. There's some limitations. You know, we had hoped with some of the breakout sessions or breakout rooms that we could still have kind of a thumbnail of what's on the big screen while they're in the room, because that would allow us to really do some cool things. But that feature is more in our mind. Maybe we'll get a hold of Zoom, see what they can do. I see some people asking questions, and hopefully people are Robert's answering them. If you're asking me private questions, I'm going to apologize right now. I won't be able to answer those until we're done. We're already at the 25-minute mark. So if you ask to the group, Robert can answer them for you. Co-host capability. Geez, talk about Robert. Check this out. I'm going to go. Oh, I'm going to let Peggy back in. I just saw that she must have got kicked out. I'm going to go ahead and give Robert some co-host ability here. And that's just a click for me. So make Robert the co-host. Yeah. I'm going to stop my share and we're going to see what's going on in Robert's world. Provided he didn't step out to the bathroom when it's his turn to shine. Look at, here he comes.
So there's me sharing the screen. Just an example of how this can be done. All sorts of work could be done with it. I just wanted to show you, as did Terry, that we could do it. And I'm going to stop sharing.
Awesome. Look at that. Nothing to it. Why would you want to share a screen? Well, I don't know. Wouldn't you want your company rep to pop in, and your company rep or your corporate safety person's in Toledo? I just had somebody do site-specific hazard awareness training from Plain, Wisconsin, well, in their office, for a county highway department. Just shared the screen, went through his presentation, had videos, had questions. Oh, that was awesome. Chat feature you've seen. Approval from MSHA and OSHA. This is important. Make sure if you're doing MSHA training that you have put down in your training plan that this is how you're going to do it. If you're going to do OSHA training, any generic, I call it generic OSHA training, something that's not an OSHA 10 or an OSHA 30 or 501, something that you're going to get a card for, you don't have to get permission from OSHA. But for OSHA 10 hours and 30 hours, you do. We have that permission. We're actually offering a couple. I'll show you that at the end. Talk about save on travel costs. And I'm not even talking for the instructor. What about all your people? I mean, you could have your 6 people just log in from the couch if you trust that they have that they can work a laptop or a phone. I had a gentleman do the whole 8-hour annual refresher for MSHA from his truck on a phone. Hey, that worked for you. It works for me. I can mute everybody. I can cut all their audio. I can add them all in. I can add all their video. That's an instructor preference. Recording capabilities. I'm actually recording this right now and going to probably put it up on YouTube so that people can get to it. But there are caveats. We can't just record a whole presentation with copywritten video and things like that and then give it to people because of the copywritten video. But there's things that are possible. So absolutely is a capability. All right. Whew, man, we're there. It's 27. Here is your question. I'm going to ask it twofold. I'm going to ask people to answer on their Zoom machines. That's your computer. But I'm going to actually open this polling up to the people that took me up on the Turning Point. If you downloaded the Turning Point app, and this is me trusting people again, 14 people I asked to do it. We'll see if anybody did. All you got on your Turning Point app right now is, whoa, hey, the instructor asked you a question. And you've got the same A, B, C, D, E, F, G, just like everybody else. You go ahead and answer on the Turning Point, and I'm going to pop your results. Hey, look at that. We got 4 or 5 people. You guys are go-getters. I love it. If you were doing this with a company or an entity, you would send them the Turning Point download information. If you wanted to go that route, you could get everybody on board. You can have one person with a smartphone in the room and everybody else tells them the answer. You could do whatever you wanted to do. It certainly would be up to you. If you're wondering why would I want to do the Turning Point polling when you got this snazzy polling right here, well, there's some gaming functions that track scores and things like that and track results. Well, those are done through the Turning Point, whereas Zoom kind of falls short on that. So got a bunch of votes in on the Zoom. Let's see what the Zoom people have to say. So I'm sharing the results right now. 67% said, you know what, I'd consider doing this. 22% said, nope, not for me. Face-to-face all the way. I hear you. And then 11% said, you know what, I'd do it if it was the only possibility instead of not doing anything, which when it comes to compliance, you don't have a choice. And I think, it's some point in time, you got to rip the Band-Aid off and you got to get after it. And it's usually the technology that scares people on this. Let's go ahead and find out what my Turning Point people said. Let's see here. Oh, geez. Where are you at? Oh, tab ya. Ding, 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 ding. All right. We had 5 people that said, you know what? I'm in. Let's do it. One person said, I'm out. Nope. Face-to-face for me. Or click and read online. That's cool too. And the 2 people said, you know, if there's another pandemic, give me a call. Otherwise, I'm good. All right. So last thing I wanted to share with you is contact information. It's right here on the screen. You can get a hold of any of us through the main office. There's my contact information if you want to contact me directly. We do have an OSHA 10 construction class. Deadline is today. Go on our website. You go on to southcentral.edu and then just type in CBI. You'll get right there. Oh, there's the live online link if you want that as well. We do have an Art Flash electrical safety. That was one of our top picks. That's going to be done virtual like this with Robert. That deadline is May 11th, so go ahead and check that out. That's my shameless plug. Oh, 1031. That's all right.